Greetings, my fellow hunters, and welcome back again. And today we will be taking a break from isekais to watch a fairly unique anime that recently popped up. It's called The Heavens Design Team, a interesting little anime that popped up this year. And I thought, you know what? Give it a watch and review it, and surprised that it was very good. I blew my hair load too early, but anyway, let's just say this one's going to be quite a creative anime, especially in the name's sake. So anyway, my hunters, as I always say, let the hunt begin! So, what is the story of this little anime that I'm reviewing today? Well, basically, long ago, God created the universe, and God creatively bankrupt. So, he hired a bunch of designers in order to create, create all the creatures on this planet. It's because he was basically A, lazy, B, increative, and C, just couldn't be bothered to do any of the creations. So he basically just hired a bunch of designers to do all the work for him, and basically it's up to him whether the designs are accepted or not, which can cause a little issues when he is so indecisive of what they want from him. Basically, he gives them a vague idea of what he wants, and it's down to the design team to just basically create it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it can go horribly wrong depending on the designers, because they are all mix and match, and it's kind of interesting, I'd say. So yeah, it's a fairly unique anime, and I've never seen one like this before, so it gives a little bit of freshness to it. So, yeah, the concept is pretty creative. Like, I've never seen an anime where basically God, who's supposed to be all-powerful, basically just shove it off to the designer team because he couldn't be bothered to think up any good ideas. Interesting. Anyway, there's also quite a lot of interesting characters and how they mix-match. They're all interesting in a lot of ways and how funny they are. And it's got some quite unique characters that are very, how would I put it, they are very diverse, but not horribly written. And I kind of like that. It's kind of fresh and nice to see a nice diverse cast written very, very well. And not just stereotypical in a lot of ways. I'll get to that back in a minute in the characters. But besides that, they're very well done. I like the story. It's very entertaining. It doesn't overstay its welcomes, and each episode is just the team coming up with new ideas because their boss is so indecisive that sometimes they could spend days just thinking of a single animal. I've had that moment of my own creative bankruptcy. So that aside, I'll leave... I don't want to show it, but anyway, if you've seen my previous video, you could... guess what? But besides my self-promotion, besides that, I enjoyed it very much. It's a comedy anime, and I laughed quite a bit, and I enjoyed the spectacle of it. It was a fresh take for once, especially the characters, if you ask me. As I said earlier, we're going to be going on to the characters, and for the sake of yours and my time, I am going to do the whole cast because it is a fairly small cast, and that actually gives it its strength. So it kind of works together. But I will have to go through all of them because it is important, as they all are contributing to the story, one form or another. So yeah, just for the simplicity's my sakes, I'm going to be rushing through all of them, but I will be bringing out their character traits and their roles in the story. So it's basically, hopefully, not an issue. So yes, anyway, we've got our first character. So first up, we have the angel, Shimoda. Yes, there are angels in this story. So anyway, Shimoda is basically the wide-eyed new employee that does not know anything and is new to the whole project that God wanted to do. And so he is the perfect character for us to latch on to because at the beginning we do not know much about this world or the characters. And he is a great way to introduce us to the characters that will be shown in the story. Overall, he's a wide-eyed and very kind person who does generally want to help with his friend's projects, and he does come up with some great ideas most of the time, so he does contribute. And he's also the guy that the big guy, God, goes to basically see if a project is okay or rejected. Yeah. I guess when you're God, you have to always send middlemen to do everything. surprise there. Edgy humor. Anyway, we have the next angel. Next, we have Ueda, who is basically, and I would argue she is basically the big sister of the series, if you know what I mean. She's basically the person that's been there the longest. She's more experienced than the rest. Well, she, not as the artist, but she does contribute a lot to their designs, and she's a very kind and thoughtful person, just like Shimoda. But besides that, she's more, how do I put this? She's more knowledgeable than Shimoda is, so she actually has some good input in the series about certain things and is more wise to other things that Shimoda isn't, compared to being the wide-eyed. So they're basically a good contrast between the two. You've got the new employee and the older, more experienced employee, and they kind of make good chemistry to each other. And yeah, I think it just basically means that there's good ideas that come from the both. You know, the wide-eyed kid and the experienced senpai, if I must say it. And though it's not bad, she's pretty decent and good. To start off with, we will have Tsuchiya, or Tushiya, or however you pronounce his name. Basically, Tsuchiya is the horse fanatic of the series, because he is the person who believes that the horse is the perfect designed animal, as it can encompass any shapes and forms or whatever. Hence why he's created so many animals like a unicorn, a pegasus, a kelpie, and other animals that are just somehow having horse features, but yet fail miserably because a horse design isn't as perfect as he thinks it is, and it causes all sorts of troubles for the poor animal. I actually feel sorry for the horses, because he creates all sorts of designs, but they either fail or basically get rejected, or both. But yeah, honestly, he's a fun character, and he is very passionate about his work, so it gives him a sort of funness to him, and I do kind of like him for that. Next up, we have the young girl, Meidu. A young girl who, despite her appearance looking all sweet and adorable, has a thing for the dark and the morbid sort of creatures. Her favorite and her masterpiece is the poisonous frog. Oh, goody. So yeah, despite her cute little appearance, she is very much not someone you want to basically mistake as liking cute, sweet things, as she thinks like, what's the word? Invertebrates, frogs or amphibians, well, mostly frogs or anything that's toxic or deadly is cute. So she's a nice contradiction to the stereotypical little girl that likes cute things, as she doesn't necessarily like the cute things in the traditional sense, in the more the sense that they're more... The one who takes over the guy who likes the cute sort of animals is Unabara, and despite his appearance of being a big, strong, muscular man, he's quite the softy. In fact, he doesn't necessarily like big, tough animals. He actually prefers the cuter, more softer kind of animals that you find like sea otters or something along those lines, that look adorable and just act cute to us humans. Yeah, I gotta say, he's quite a good character, in my opinion, in the sense that he has a nice contradiction between his art style and his characterization, because normally the big, strong, muscular man is big and tough, but he's like a softy, basically. He doesn't like those creepy or big, tough animals, as I've said before. So yeah, a good way of subverting my expectations. Yeah, he's pretty good. Next up, we have Mizushima, a man who I would describe as very stoic in his personality, but he's also the guy who just basically wants to outdo everybody else. So hence why whenever he creates an animal, he creates it in a way that it just basically, what's the word I'm looking for? He basically creates them to try to outdo his other fellow creators' works. He's the sort of guy who's just basically being the annoying one in the series, who in the office because he just basically wants to prove he's the best of the best, and my animals are superior to your animals. A quite trait I find very annoying, frankly. So yeah, he's just a guy who wants to outdo everyone. Next up, we have Kanamori, and she is the most difficult one because she is very interesting. She is flamboyant, she has very interesting ideas, and she has a bit of a rivalry with Mizushima because her favorite creation is the bird. And for Mizushima, his is the snake, so basically natural predators, so well, she creates birds, he tries to create snakes to outdo the birds, and vice versa. She's very entertaining in a lot of ways, and I've got to respect the character for being a great representation for the community. She's excellently done, and she's not stereotypical, so it's kind of great. I love it. She's wonderfully written and wonderfully designed. Nothing more to add on to that, guys. Not her, to you. Guys, yeah, you know what I mean. You know what, never mind. Next on, we're going to find on the final character. And next up, we have Higuchi, the brains of the series and the person that when the designers create an animal, they must go through her to make sure it actually physically works, and if it does not, it has to go back to the drawing boards to fix the problems that it has. So basically, like I said, she's the brain. So she basically puts scientific knowledge to the use to the series to basically explain where the flaws are. For example, the reason why a unicorn horns can't work, the reason why supersizing a gorilla doesn't exactly work in real life, or basically, what's else, for example? Oh, she also comes up with ideas that may work in future ideas. Like, for example, well, hang on a second. I must be misremembering that. Anyway, she actually is the brilliance behind this mind, and she's quite interesting. She's hardworking, too, because she has to make sure that the animals work just right and function sustainably. So yeah, she's pretty much a good character in my opinion. And so, when it comes to animation of this series, I have to say it's some of the best I've seen, hands down. I love how it looks. It's bright, it's colorful, and it's very expressive when it comes to the characters. And the animals look somewhat how they should look in real life. So yeah, I give props to the animation, to basically and how good it looks, how colorful it is, and basically and how it just basically brightens my day up and after a long, miserable hunt. But nonetheless, my personalities aside, I really can't find much to falter with it because it's just that good. And if I could find something wrong with it, I'd be talking a bit more about it. So basically, I'm just dragging this on. Anyway, next up, music. As for the music and department, it's pretty good. It's really well done, and it's very, very well executed on how it uses a lot of cheerful tones and some dread tones when there's those dreadful moments. But overall, I find the music very serviceable and very well done, as it just fits the tune very nicely. I especially love the opening and how it's so well colorfully done, as well as the music being fantastic. It's all well done, it's all cheerful, it just gets me in the mood for the series and just wants me to just keep watching and just to listen to that tune over and over and over again. So basically that way it keeps me interested. Again, if I had more to complain about in this section, I would. When you have good things like these, it's hard to really find faults in it sometimes. And if I did find faults, I'd be nitpicking at this point. And no one likes a nitpicker. So, my final thoughts on this anime, it is pretty good. Actually, as I said, it's one of the more unique animes that has come out this year, and it's not either an isekai, nor fantasy, nor action, nor nothing. It's just a simple comedy anime with just great characters, an interesting premise, and a fun story overall. And frankly, like I said, a fresh of breath air from all the isekais I've been reviewing. After so long, isekais, they tend to blur together over time, and then you just go through the motions of watching it, reviewing it, and then watching it, reviewing it, and then you've got nothing interested. This one is actually a nice fresh take. It's interesting, a unique premise, and overall, a good thing to watch. So, go watch it. You can go for a good chuckle or good characterizations. Go watch this anime because it's perfectly fine in my opinion. It doesn't do anything offensive, neither does it do anything... What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't do anything that's going to blow your socks off, but honestly, I think I prefer that than something that tries to blow your socks off, because inevitably, it's going to peter out very quickly. So, go watch it. Go watch it. And thank you very much, my hunters, for watching this video. If you come this far, I appreciate it greatly. Please, if you like my content, subscribe down below. I have a Patreon, follow me on Twitter, and I've also got a Twitch, and I'm currently streaming Final Fantasy VII Remake on Fridays, but I might do one tomorrow. Fridays? Yes, sorry, never mind. By the time this comes out, it'll be too late. But yes, I'm doing streams on Final Fantasy VII. Been enjoying it so far. First Final Fantasy that I've actually enjoyed. So that's something. If you're also interested in helping this little old hunter out with financials, my Patreon is down below with the link. Please do. You can subscribe for €5, which will help me immensely. It's just as much as a cup of coffee, so it's not that bad. So if you want to help me, that 5 years will help me go a long way. And thank you very much, my hunters. And as I always say, may the good blood guide your way.